Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Bear, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Henry Boucher, Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Oh, what's up?
Yo, Rob, how you doing? Rob just came back from the bathroom, and I made him start the show with no fucking rest.
Man, didn't even let that beehole cool down.
He's got something going on. How you feeling, Rob?
I just had an adventure.
Shit, you got like a beehole debuff right now?
Yo, so my number one turned into a number two.
That's all.
We knew that after the first 30 seconds, man.
So, but then, after I do my work.
Pooped.
I gotta get a good wipe down, right?
Yeah.
Because I gotta get the wipes.
Was it like black tar in there?
No. I fucking forgot to refill the wipes.
So you had to crab walk to the closet?
Man.
No, even worse. They got delivered today.
You had to go to the front door with your butthole hanging out with poop in it and shit?
So I'm like, where's my Amazon box? Because I don't know.
Oh, you had to go outside.
UPS.
Oh my God.
Just decides what door they're going to put my shit
You're just
at.
like going outside to get your packages, Daffy Ducking it.
Yep.
So then I checked this on, and I'm checking the cameras, which remember, as soon as I go out, I'm on camera, right?
So you filmed yourself naked from the bottom down. Then you had to go delete that footage. Then you had to finish wiping. Then you had to come back.
Well,
yeah,
I forgot. I remembered all this before I was about to go out the door.
With your poopy butthole and balls hanging out.
So I'm like, all right, I gotta find something to put on. So I ended up I had some shoes.
Nice, that works. That's exactly what you needed to put on in that situation.
And I'm like,
fucking put a sock over it like an elephant trunk.
Basically,
he just grabbed a sock and some shoes, guys.
But it wasn't at my front door, so then I had to go to the back door. It was the whole thing, guys.
Yeah, no.
And then the cat's following me.
The cat got out.
Time
Oh my God!
Because when you're doing your business, your cat's always protecting you.
Mm-hmm. Bathroom pals.
Dog.
That was a harrowing journey you just went on.
Yeah.
But I got my package. I'm all clean again.
Made my day.
I'm happy to hear that. God damn.
Bellacore. You got Bellacore? Got Lord of Change?
I mean, yeah, but I just didn't care enough to grab those.
Yeah, we can't do them all, but here's
I mean, there's like Flamers, Exalted Flamers, Bloodthirster.
And there's no points on any of this, right?
No,
of course not. So, table of contents, we have our tabletop marketplace as always. We're going to have some comments on the hot current event that is the Great Legending, the fucking. We have titled the episode tonight something along the lines that GW ruined, or Forge World ban has ruined the game before it even starts, some shit like that. Trigger alert. But we also have some really exciting stuff to talk about with the Space Marine chapters. Faction focus is really interesting. But while we were talking, a bunch of data sheet leaks started getting thrown out. So stay tuned. We got Mortarion and many more.
Oh, found Blight Spawn.
Ooh, wait to the Plague Surgeon. That's the one we're waiting for. So what Wyatt is doing, and he's getting super excited in the background, is he's collecting these in real time so that we can put together the most current event podcast we possibly can, skirting the edge. So
can you send all these? Can you send them to me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going through grabbing the ones I see, but I don't really want to do this all show.
Yeah. So do that, and then we'll kick it over to our Peabody Award-winning segment. We'll get our Would You Rather done. Then Rob will start going into his thing, and then Wyatt can track these things without distraction and figure out the hottest takes of all time as our, most competitive player on the show. And so I'll turn it over to Wyatt for a round of Would You Rathers in the Cave of Wonders.
Would you rather be homeless for 1 year or be in prison for 2 years.
Ooh.
None of this has to do with me being gluten-free, so I like this one.
Do prisons have to accommodate somebody who has celiac disease?
Yes.
Okay.
They would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking max.
Do I want to be in prison?
We're talking
No.
like max, like federal fucking Canyon City, fucking, we're talking super max? What are we talking about here? What kind of crime level?
Martha Stewart?
I mean, all prison, pretty bad. Not like a super max with like brutal murderers and shit, but like it's still prison, like a state penitentiary.
Like a state penitentiary. Okay. Because, you know, that would, things change. You know what I mean? So 2 years.
I mean, you're doing 2 years. That's pen time.
2 years in, yeah, it's pen time. You're right. That makes sense. Should be self-explanatory. Okay. So, homeless question. Where am I homeless? Right where I'm at, or can I go anywhere?
Streets.
Like,
You cannot crash at a friend's house. Cannot get a hotel room. You cannot sleep in your car.
region,
You're
though,
on the
like
street.
what region of the world, country, where I'm like,
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're in California.
so I'm just where I am.
But you have a tribe you can go hang out with for sure.
But like, does Rob have the option to come to California if he goes homeless, or does he have to be where he is?
I don't know. I mean, given his state's politics, they might buy him a bus ticket to go out there.
Mm-hmm. No, because this is actually a pretty tight state to be homeless in. And it's only 1
They
year.
got them tiny houses for them now.
Yeah. They do a lot of things.
No, you can't use those. You got to be like OG homeless.
No, that's.
Boo.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So I'm homeless in Los Angeles and can't stay at any friend's house, in my car. Do I still have is it just finger snap and like also have no money and no fucking, or do I am just running out what I have, like the $200 I have on this card out? I still have like everything in my wallet. Like, what's the situation there? Am I suddenly like a train hobo, or am I still me starting now on this adventure with only what I got?
I'd say only what you got.
Okay. So I basically have my cell phone until, just like many homeless people have cell phones. So I have my cell phone until like it stops, until I shut it off because I'm not paying anymore, basically. I have like,
So you got like 3 months.
so I have like, if I have like my debit card in my wallet, like like that works until it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess.
But I can't use that debit card to like go to a hotel.
Yes.
I can't use that debit card to like go shower at a fucking gym.
Nope. Well, I mean, no, that's the thing. I mean, if they let you, I guess you could.
So I'd have access to funds for a relatively short amount of time in this situation. But obviously I'm not rich and I don't have like MasterCard, and I can't get to a computer to make sure like things are happening, and I can't do my job. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Prison for 2 years. I have a place to sleep. I can eat. But it's 2 years. Is there any chance to get off early on good behavior?
Solid 2.
Good genie behavior. Solitary?
Wait, you said it's solitary?
No.
Oh no.
A solid 2 years.
Solid 2 years. Okay.
Oh.
And I can shower at the prison. And so again, in my own region, like I'm here, state penitentiary level.
Yeah.
2 years though, off the grid, 1 year off the grid. 50% longer, but definitely like more hardship potential. But I am in California, where like being homeless is kind of tight, comparatively, not tight. That's a tough one. What are you thinking, Rob?
I think it really depends on the region, because I don't want to be homeless in like New York. It's cold there.
But it's where you live, which
I
also
feel
gets
like-
cold. Yeah,
I mean, it does get cold a little bit.
It gets really fucking cold where you live a little bit of the year.
Yeah, for like a hot 3 weeks.
You'd have to. But thing is, since I'm mobile, I'm a mobile. Can I be a mobile hobo? Like I can just he can boost out of. He can go down to Florida when it's getting kind of cold, right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You're just homeless.
Just homeless.
You just gotta ride the rails.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Got a lot of trains where you live. I think I'd pick homeless. I don't think 2 years is too much, man.
It's fair.
I think in this area I'd probably try being homeless, but I feel like for the majority of the correct answer is prison.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the pros and cons of both situations, which is really sad when you think about it, right? But I will also have this I've had this low key fantasy my whole life. I'll just be randomly driving by just some bushes on the side of the road and be like, I bet I can live in those bushes. Weird. I don't know why, but that's the thing that goes through my brain sometimes. I'm like, I bet I can live in those bushes. Fuck everything. So, this give me a chance to see if that little weird impulse that I've had my whole life is stupid or not.
I mean, there's a lot of places like Panera, a lot of corporate places, they throw out perfectly good food inside of bags every night.
Yeah, I'd have to learn how it all works.
Yeah, there's definitely a system, what days, what's getting thrown
old hobo you could learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Could be his Padawan.
Yeah, I'd have to track him down, find him. But yeah, I mean, I'm mainly compelled by that weird impulse I have, so I need to play that out to see if it's something I'm really interested in. So maybe I don't come out of the bush after a year. Maybe I just live there now.
Yeah, maybe you like it. Maybe form an encampment, a society with other...
A commune. A bush commune. Right after 101 at Barham. Open to all. Oh, my God. Thank you. Also, I pooped there.
You never poop where you eat, bro.
That's a good point. Poop across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you just pooped in your house. You eat in your house.
It's different rooms.
Have you never eaten in the bathroom? I have sandwiches in the B room all the time.
That's how Elvis died. You never eat in the B room.
That's true.
Especially on the toilet.
Intrinsically, you could deduce that eating a sandwich on the toilet killed him.
What about shower beer?
That is exactly what happened.
So what about a shower beer?
Shower beer? I mean,
is that too close? Because
sure.
I drink beer in the shower all the time.
Dude, that's fine.
Okay. So as long as there's a door that can be shut between.
What about if you poop in the shower whilst having a shower beer? Is that okay?
I have pooped in the shower, so is the shower now off limits? Or I have to change showers?
Why are you going to poop in the shower?
Things happen. Shit happens. No? Okay.
I don't believe you.
Robert refuses to field that question. Okay.
We've worn him out. That was his limit. Rob, you want to do some Mantis news?
Mantis toboggan. Yes, we can do some Mantis news. So we do have a little bit of releases this week. Space Marine Heroes 2023 Nurgle Collection. If you want the whole booster box of 8 boosters, it's going to be $64, or you can get singles for $8. Probably from your local game store or only on GW Direct. Just buy from your local game store. It's a lot easier. Then they got some Underworld stuff. I don't think anybody cares about it. I'm not really sure why they're bringing it back, but the starter set is actually cheaper this time around, $60, than when it came out in 2018.
Wait, so this is Shade Speezy?
Yeah, Shade Speezy. Rebooted.
It was so good.
It was so good till they started making seasons and cycling shit and just making you buy an excessive amount. They thought it was Magic cards. I'm just come on, man. I immediately sold all my shit. I'm I'm done.
That's a good point. It's funny because an element of the Magic card game style, that CCG style, was really awesome for that game system. But then using that cycling, that definitely turned people off. That's exactly what you're right. That's exactly. It's funny because it was so good. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue,
dude. I don't get some of the stuff GW does sometimes, but anyways, and then the new expansion, the Headsman Curse, $42, and they have some card packs, $29. Not sure if anybody cares. But probably more importantly, probably the worst kept secret in the history of ever. They're going to tease 10th edition release on Sunday, which probably means that it will go on pre-order on the 10th for delivery on the 24th. Of this month, which is also the day that you can go into your local game store and get a free Tyranid, or your local Warhammer store and get a free Tyranid model. So another bit of a tell right there. That being said, I think the only real mystery at this point is what products are we going to see for the new edition of the game. Obviously, we know there's going to be some card packs, the core rulebook, the Leviathan starter box, but not too many other details at this point. There'll probably be the book, a book or two to go with the launch. But so, keep your eyes peeled for all that cool and exciting things. And hopefully with a little luck, it won't be allocated. GW was closed on Wednesday, the 31st of May, for training on, how it's all going to work and or how it's all going to go down and things like that. But obviously, I think at the end of the day, just remember to vote with your hobby dollars, because we probably, I would say a large number of folks listening to this probably remember how the Indominus release went down in 2020, and it wasn't the best. And I hope that isn't the case right now.
Remember that we keep talking about it, but it's like, if you want GW, Rob mentioned this in the after hours. It's good after hours content, by the way. But he was talking about like GW obviously is pushing us to more and more and more of a sole singular reliance on them as the owner of this brand, right? And so if you want the local infrastructure, the boots on the ground people like your local game store, to keep even being interested in Warhammer 40k, you have to be willing to sacrifice, go without. So if they don't get if it gets allocated and you can't get it from your local shop, but then you instantly just go on GW's website and order it there, and then next week complain about how we need to support our local game stores. See the problem there?
You're the problem. I hate to say it, and I don't like to call people out, but you're the problem.
Like boycotts and stuff like that, like strikes, things like that. They only work because people are willing to sacrifice. So, which I personally have no interest in buying Leviathan if I can't get it from my local shop.
I mean, I am of the same opinion, and we've seen, since 2020, we've seen consumer, confidence in consumer opinion. And now, they're lashing out at content creators, the folks that get this stuff. And it's potentially even worse right now because folks aren't coming out with content. They're normal content because they're too busy working for GW for
becoming
free.
Fake content. Yeah. That's something I've complained about for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, they're too busy right now producing that Leviathan
if your content is reading editorializing somebody else's content, you're probably not making content. Rob, how do you get the book though? Is the new rule book and all the cool cards and everything like that, is that Leviathan only?
Free online.
The rule book will come in Leviathan, but the core rules will be a free download. The card packs will also be a free download. You can also buy them.
Tight.
I think it's a good precedent.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. So let's talk about some other stuff. Well, I guess we can kind of circle back and kind of start at GW. So there was some news today. John Blanche apparently is retiring from something. I think a lot of things got spread around Facebook quite a bit, that he was retiring from XYZ. But when you look at the actual post that these folks were referencing, he didn't really say anything specifically. Maybe he's leaving GW. Maybe he just can't hobby anymore because he can't feel his fingers, which kind of seemed to be what the post said. But there's a lot of things going around that he's retiring from something. I don't know. Me personally, I think he was just being kind of cheeky in his post. He's just like, I can't hobby anymore. But I didn't even know.
I retire every year. Why can't John Blanche?
God bless. I mean, like, dude, I mean, the guy has done so much. Like at this point, like, I don't think anybody would be mad at him. But either way, it's everybody deserves their time and to step away. And I hope if that is the case, that he enjoys whatever his next endeavor is. Best of luck and well wishes in his and whatever he decides to do from here on out, because he's definitely left an indelible impact on, I think, a lot of people over the last 30, 40 years in this hobby. So that was very cool to see either way. But I think some folks, I don't like when things spread that are factually untrue and we just don't know exactly what the actual story is. And that was our story, is, hey, he's retiring from something we don't exactly know, but there's a lot of people out there saying. So just be careful what you read out there, unless it's from a source you trust and not something that's shared around social medias, because at this point, it's whatever people are grabbing, the 5 seconds, 10 seconds, reading it and moving on and not even comprehending. We're swimming in knowledge, but we're drowning for comprehension. And it's sad to see, sad state of affairs, especially when it comes to what we're going to talk about with, the upcoming rules and all these things going on with Legends, because everybody has a hot take on it. But I feel like very few people actually read that post. Regardless, another post that required a lot of reading and a lot of comprehension was that the Battlescribe development team today said there probably isn't going to be an update for 10th edition 40k, which means, again, as we've talked about in the past, the actual the guy that made the app and gets the money in his pocket every month from anybody that subscribes, and not the people actually doing the work, hasn't done any of the necessary things he needed to do to actually fix and maintain Battlescribe. And therefore, it's probably not going to get a 10th edition update, which is sad to see. So that leaves us firmly in the hands of, I guess, Games Workshop to maybe put out an app that's worth a shit. I don't know.
It's a little nerve-wracking to me because everyone's got their own habits, but I definitely enjoy less scheming on my phone at night. And I have gotten into the Warhammer app because I still have it, right? I've been there the whole time that they've been updating it. And it currently at this moment for 9th edition is usable. Okay.
Well, that's good.
And that's also, the end game though, right? That's like they've worked, 9th edition, they changed, they fixed. Many codexes became unlocked because I got those codes. And there's a lot of things going on in there, right? But then if it goes to a fresh restart, and they gotta fix it for 10th, and then at first it should be a good value, assuming it works exactly like it works today for 9th. It's not that bad. But what'll be cool is that since all the rules are free day one, everything is unlocked. But then as codexes cycle and out and you don't buy them and get the code, you get locked out of your app. You get locked out of that. So it's a little frustrating and nerve-wracking to me that, it might just start over again being bad and then it's unusable, but then I don't even get to go to Battlescribe. So sit down in my chair and fucking type it on a spreadsheet, which I'll do. I'll do that. I'll do that anyway. But yeah, thanks for the update on that, Rob.
Yeah, it's I hope there's something out there that's easily shareable and is ready to go day one, because that didn't happen in 9th edition, unfortunately. But I guess everything we'll know more very soon, regardless, either way. The postage stamps were on field today by the Royal Mail in the UK. So if you want some commemorative postage stamps for 40k AOS and Old World, they are going to go on pre-order on the 8th.
They actually got some real ass stamps?
Some real ass stamps. You can get collector version framed stamp sets. You can get rolls of stamps if you just want to use them for your Christmas cards to your Warhammer buddies. They got a whole page of stamps. This shit is wild.
What is a stamp collector? A philatelist?
Yes, you're right.
So, talking about philatelist homies out there, let's get those first day covers. Is that what they call those, Rob? The first day a new stamp is unveiled. Is that called a first day cover?
Yeah, I think it's like first edition, like Charizard.
Like I'm trying to go deep into my philatelist knowledge here.
I'm a little vacant on that stuff, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's all coming out. We talked last week a little bit about Secret Weapon Minis, the rights to most of their products getting purchased by Elric's Hobbies, and they're going to be working on getting all that to market very soon. Another hobby company in the space, Blood and Skulls Industries, they created a lot of resin upgrade kits for a lot of plastic kits out there over the last 15 years. Announced they will be closing on June 30th, unless somebody steps up and purchases the rights to their stuff and starts producing it. So, little sad times in the hobby space, but a lot of things are going up, and hopefully those folks move on to bigger and better things, and we get some fresh blood. Remember, Lego was actually failing in the late 90s until they started. They got new ownership, and they started licensing Star Wars Legos, and they kind of took off from there. So sometimes you just need new ownership and
fresh new IP. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, licensing IP is always a good idea, I suppose. But that's a podcast for a different time. There with the Lego Maniac podcast, and that's not today. So we covered postage stamps. So Shatterpoint, Star Wars Shatterpoint goes up for sale, or is street date June 2nd, which is probably the time most of you might be listening to this podcast. They just put out an updated rule book with a lot of clarifications. I think, judging by a lot of the comments, that it's good overall, but there are a lot of questions about cover and hunker, and if they're exclusive, or if I don't know. It's going to require a little bit of sorting out, but it seems pretty important. So that being said, make sure if you are going to pick up the game that you get that updated rule set with a lot of clarifications and things in it. And kind of read through that. They have a changelog in it too. So AMG has been listening to folks, because that's been a
Wyatt's working on some Shatterpoint right now.
I have heard that.
He discovered that the instructions are a QR code.
I got it in the mail today, so I'm not working on it yet.
No. Any advice to anybody out there who opens their first box of Shatterpoint?
Hey, when it says like stop, dum read this thing, do that, because I couldn't find the instructions, and I was the dum that didn't stop and read them. all their instructions are PDFs now, so you have to scan a QR code to get them.
That is true. And something else, if you're thinking about crossing over to Shatterpoint, if you don't have any experience with any of the FFG or AMG games, it is going to be a little bit of a learning curve to kind of figure out what's going on with Shatterpoint. But I think overall, Shatterpoint is a faster, more simplified rule set than anything that either of those studios has put out in the past. I'm not sure I super like Shatterpoint, to be honest with you, yet, but I haven't played it enough to really give you 100%. I don't like it because XYZ. I don't know yet. But I think I could see where a lot of people initially would think that Shatterpoint is more complicated. So give it more than an initial look or initial shake if you are seriously interested in the game, because it is way different than anything you probably played before. So there's that, I suppose. There's some scribbles on my sheet here. I can't quite read them. Oh, I think I know what they say. So the 40k core rules have been leaked. They are out there. It appears that a book from Leviathan was scanned. You can see the binding in it, and they just used a flatbed scanner to literally scan a bunch of pages. So some of the stuff that was missing has, been revealed. That there's some clutch stuff in there, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it here in a few. I don't know.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because some stuff about like who fights first in this, or who gets to choose what assaults go off. It was pretty interesting, I think. But we'll get to that shortly. So that is out there. You can find it. The data cards have all been leaked too, but they are a little bit harder to find right now. But we're going to talk about some of those because they're putting them up on stream. On their demo, the demo game. So definitely look for a lot more coming out.
Are they putting them up on the
soon.
stream because they were leaked, or are they leaking from the stream?
They're not. Well, they are leaking more publicly from the stream, but the data cards are out there already. You just have to kind of dig deep to get them right now. But as soon as they hit the right, channels,
the right website,
they'll be everywhere. I'm not putting them up.
Oh,
We have standards.
Nice.
Anyway, so that's all I got. But I do have a little bit more to say about
give me some comment on today's big breaking trigger alert from Warcom.
So there was an article today where they, said that a lot of units from Horus Heresy, some new plastic kits, some old, resin stuff from Forge World, would get an initial, rule set in 40k and then not be supported from that point and could not be used in competitive events. You still can play them at your local store, match play, obviously, for funsies and stuff, which is good, right? But, I have two ways to look at this. Obviously, the tinfoil hat gluten-free gut check is, okay, I kind of see the writing on the wall. The heresy stuff was over at, given to the Sigmar guys to handle at this point. Vehicles in general are a little rough to play in heresy. So you would think that they would want more sales for the stuff, which doesn't quite seem to be the case, but we don't have the full list yet. And also GW has a problem with talent or asses in seats, just to be, very blunt and precise about it. They just don't have the people right now to do a lot of things on the development side, according to sources, etc. So I think that the conspiracy theory would be that, hey, they did this because A, they can't keep up with production. We've seen that. There's been allocations since February. That's a trend. That's notable. B, they've got a brain drain, right? So there's a lot of folks. There's just not a lot going on with the studio right now. And it's kind of like who owns this, the product, right? And they're trying to get Old World out the door. They got to reboot Sigmar next year. And, whatever else is coming in between, right? We've got this big launch and everything hinges on this 40k launch going off without a hitch. So, and then you've got, of course, the 3D artists and the people printing stuff, and also recasters, right? And literally this one thing solves a lot of those problems to GW. They don't have to sell this stuff anymore. They don't have to maintain this stuff anymore. There's no more ownership of these units. They just put it out once and then it's done. But I can see kind of the other side of it. We talked in the pregame about how, I think Wyatt looked it up and on BCP, and there's roughly 6,900 folks that have played in multiple tournament level events this year, according to BCP. I believe last year was about 4,000. So we're up. We're seeing a big uptick in people playing this season thus far. And remember, the season just started in January? And you could argue that it's a lame duck season.
Yeah, you can argue that this season was lower in numbers than it should be.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would agree.
So to see that kind of growth is actually a good indicator, in my opinion. Just spitballing right now, right? So you got these 6,900 people that have played in 2 events since January. How many of them in their local areas practice for these events in in groups that are actually geographically close to them. And I would say not a lot, because a lot of people are members of the group. Now, maybe XPZ and stuff, or maybe some of the, Dallas crew or Texas crew and things, they're geographically close
localized
to
population centers, as always.
Sure. But I would say that a lot of folks, they go, that travel to 2-3 hours, maybe longer, to plan these events. They're going to get practice games in at their local game store, and their local game store folks are going to be people that have Leviathans and that have, Contemptors or Zythons or whatever.
And they're going to Command Rhino,
the Damocles Command Rhino, like all these things. And they're going to be less motivated to play these competitive folks when they're just like, oh, I can't do this or whatever. Or those same competitive folks might have a harder time finding games because of this, right? Or conversely, like everybody's like, whatever, I don't care, I just want to play. And there's going to be a lot of that too. But I can kind of see where some of that might actually happen. And then I'm just like, hey, why didn't they just, like, all of 9th edition? Forge World was just bad. Like, there was a tax to take it, the CP tax, basically, right? Why didn't they just keep it bad and just keep it out there as an option? And again, I think a lot of that, it comes back to the fact that they don't have the ability to maintain it with all these permutations and all these play testing and things.
Especially if it's somebody else's job who's not the main studio's job.
Right.
Who has ownership over it. And you're already saying that there's not enough asses and seats. So you're basically taking somebody whose main focus is this other development. And then, but they're balancing this shit for these people's other IP, because GW says the 40k developer team is like, we already have our hands full with this. We don't even fuck about this. Like, it's this job. Pass the buck over there, So,
yep,
I can see that.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I see both sides to it. I get the business side of it, but I also get folks' responses to it. And obviously, there's a lot of people coming in really, really heavy-handed. Like, I got all these models and now I can't play with them. You can obviously play with them, but at the end of the day, just do what makes you happy.
No, dude, Rob, I think we touched on this in the after hours, right? GW obviously makes decisions sometimes for money. Well, actually, every time. But also, I doubt they've made even one decision with only money as the objective. I guarantee they always at least have to balance it against something. And it's possible for a decision to be bad things and good things all bunched into one. Like, cut the low-hanging fruit out of that ties up all of our development teams and distracts them from our dope shit that we need to have go smoothly. So that's like a money-making decision. But then also they're like, well, historically, Forge World's been kind of a fucking, an issue that where some people like it or they don't like it. So we can get a little goodwill, by cutting out some of that shit. Also, we have way too many Space Marine data sheets. So, cut some of those back. That'll get some goodwill here. There's like a list of like things you can state that are good about cutting all that junk out. Well, a list of bad things. But ultimately, it's not just one thing. And it doesn't actually hurt the play. Like, everyone's mad because how it affects them. I get that, right? That's all I look at, right? When the new shit dropped today, Wyatt, what's the first thing you think I looked at on the new Space Marine chapters?
Oh, Blood Angels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that matters to me.
Yeah.
It took me like a half an hour to even go back and read the rest of it.
Just like I looked at the Forge World, I was like, please don't say Decimators.
And then you went and saw Decimator.
And I was like, God damn it. But 5 seconds later, I was like, Yeah. I got like half a decade of fun out of them. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah. It makes sense, Rob. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Man, that's all I really got to say, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, no, if you want to hear a more expansive outline of this subject, guys, check out the After Hours content on Patreon. It's a longer version than normal because so many things happened, and we cover an expansion of Rob's piece right here on the show. Oh God. So a lot has happened since we started the show today, including leaks, as Rob mentioned earlier. So, Wyatt, what order would you like to take us in on the meat and potatoes stuff?
Oh, I mean, we get a bunch of, not really, wouldn't call them leaks because they are being shown off on the live stream. So by the time this comes out, it will have already happened because it's streaming while we're recording this. So more stuff might happen in between now and then. But we do get first look at some pretty cool data sheets like Mortarion. We've been waiting for his data sheet for a while. And he is a spicy boy. I'm very excited by his data sheet. Moves 10, toughness 12, 2 up save, 4 up invul. He is 16 wounds with an OC of 6. He has deadly demise D6, so he'll explode on death. But he also has feel no pain 5+. So he's got that going for him.
Yo, with that nice stat line, so he's 16 wounds instead of 18. Mm-hmm. But he's 2 up save, which is kind of like he has armor of contempt still. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how I look at that. He has T12, which is a bump, even though the relativistic damage increase for certain anti-tank weapons has scaled with some of this toughness creeping. It is still mathematically a bump. He has gone up in toughness and save characteristic and still maintains an after-the-fact damage mitigator in the form of feel no pain 5 up. That is a tough motherfucker. He lost only 2 wounds, but that's probably because of their towering mechanic, right?
Yeah, he's no longer Titanic, so he's not towering, which means he can be obscured by ruins and he can get the benefits of cover, which is pretty nice. He's got a psychic power called Rot Wind, which is a blast. It's got devastating wounds, lethal hits, and is 18-inch range, D6 plus 3 attacks, hits on 2, strength 7, -2, 1 damage.
And it's explode. As you said, lethal wounds.
Yeah, so devastating wounds.
So
a wound of a 6, it causes a mortal. And lethal hits, which means it auto wounds on a hit roll of a 6.
Goodness.
Yeah, pretty cool. Still got the lantern. It's pistol sustained shots D3. Its kind of line mechanic is removed. So shoots it once, but it does have sustained shots D3. Hits on 2, strength 9, -3, 3 flat damage. Still has a strike and a sweep profile on silence. Comes with lethal hits. The strike has 5 attacks, hits on 2s, strength 14, AP3, 4 damage. The sweep is 15 attacks, strength 7, -1, 1 damage. Like all the big army leaders, he has 3 abilities. You can choose one of them at the start of the battle round. Miasma of Pestilence, Aura, while a friendly Death Guard unit is within 6. Each time a ranged attack targets that unit, models in that unit have benefit of cover. Disease Influence. While a friendly Death Guard unit is within 6, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. Toxic Presence. While a friendly Death Guard unit is within 12 of this model, add 3 to the contagion range of that unit. And then he has Lord of the Death Guard. While a friendly Death Guard unit is within 6 inches of this model, that unit can ignore any or all modifiers to its characteristics and to any roll or test made for it, excluding modifiers to saving throws.
You're starting to see that pop up a lot.
Yeah, this is kind of a new rule. I think we first saw it with Trajan Valoris. Mm-hmm. Really, really cool because basically, like, you don't care about negatives to your leadership. You don't care about negatives to your hit, wound roll. You don't care about movement penalties, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's not bad for sure. And so he's hard to kill, and he fucks. I think he's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he's gonna be super cool. Anything else in this guy? No. Yeah. We get to see the Plagueburst Crawler full data sheet, which is nice. It's also move 10, toughness 10, 2 up save, 5 up invul, 12 wounds with an OC of 4. Maintains its demon status, which is kind of neat. We get to see the entropy cannons. So 24-inch range, one shot apiece with lethal hits. Hits on 3s, strength 10, minus 3 AP, D6 plus 1 damage.
Interesting. Bit of a downgrade comparatively, from 9th to 10th there, which everything is. But it also shows you the role they're sliding that gun into now. Right? Mm-hmm. So before it was like a super las cannon. But it did have less strength. It was strength 8. But it was plague weapon, so it can, reroll 1's a wound, and it did a lot of damage in AP. But it also had a 36-inch range before.
Yeah.
So they put it more in a mid range, but they also gave the vehicle more movement than it had before.
Mm-hmm.
We're also starting to see a pattern where it looks like the quote unquote plague weapon kind of thing that Death Guard had before is lethal hits now.
Lethal hits, which is dope. And also I found it interesting. So that's an exception. So that was before that was a toughness 8 vehicle. And so now it's only a toughness 10 vehicle, which is not a buff really. Like toughness 12 is kind of like the old toughness 8. So they're saying it's like a mainline tank toughness value, like, which is over 9. So like the light tanks are 9. This is a 10. I thought it would have been higher, but
I think T10 is still a good.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Value. Anything above 9 is where you want to be at.
Yeah. We already saw the mortar. Plague Spitter has anti-infantry 2+.
That's
Force
awesome.
Cover Torrent. It's got D6 attacks, strength 6, minus 1, 1 damage.
It's funny, the Plague Spitter configuration might be the configuration again.
Could be.
It might be.
Could be.
It comes and it goes.
We get to see the Lord of Virulence.
Oh, yeah, this guy was kind of a weird limp noodle last time.
Yeah, cool model. Some hype around his release, but he ended up not being very useful.
Yeah.
So he is Terminator armor, moves 4 inches like the other Terminators, T6, 2 up, 4 up, 6 wounds, OC1. He's got his twin plague spewer, also has anti-infantry 2 up, ignores cover, torrent, twin linked. So it's D6 shots.
Rerolls wounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Strength 5, minus 1, 1 damage. He's got a plague fist, also with lethal hits. Seems to basically be a power fist, strength 8, AP2, 2 damage.
Hit on 4?
Weapon skill 3. Yeah,
so, minus 1 hit. It makes sense.
He's a leader, and we got to see for the first time the back of some cards on this live stream. So the Lord of Virulence can only be attached to Blightlord and Deathshroud Terminators.
Yeah, we started seeing that actually. Would you say, Rob?
Yeah, it's interesting that they showed a lot of the backs here because some actually have some pretty useful information like the unit sizes and who they can be attached to.
Yeah, that's revealing. I saw that for the first time today in the chapters review. I noticed like the limitations, and so that's interesting. So I think that characters are probably going to be more affordable. Like I don't think a lot of changes in points are going to be seen across the board, but I do think that you might see a reduction in and points on some characters because it's like they want you to join units to get some of these unit based like synergies, but also you limit what kind of units they can join in general. So there's a bit of a tax to that, right? So I'm interested to see these points obviously more than ever before now.
Yeah,
Dana's going to do it for a lot of people.
So he's got 2 data sheet abilities: Master of Destruction. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can reroll the wound roll.
Ooh, that's way better than it was before. Wait, hold on. What can he join again? Terminators and Deathshroud?
Blightlord and Deathshroud Terminators.
Okay, so he joins. So it only really affects the Terminators, really, because the Deathshroud just have those little shitty, weak flamers.
Yeah. So his second rule is Blight Bombardment. Each time a friendly Death Guard model makes an attack with a blast weapon that targets a unit that is visible to this model, add 1 to the hit roll, and that attack has the ignores cover ability.
Which those things that were not blast before. So like again, just Blightlords really affected here.
Yeah.
So that's a really solid. So remember we were talking about these Blightlords to buff them up. people were like super upset because of damage mitigation and everything like that. It's like, bro, we've already seen one guy that really enhances their fucking lethality and their DPS. This guy definitely in that unit, right? And we still don't know what a plague surgeon does. We don't know any of that shit yet, right? We might. I don't know. Sorry, White.
Yeah. We get to see the Foul Blight Spawn.
They got the ultimate fight lasts American Express card of Death Guard in the previous edition.
Yes. So some pretty big changes with this guy. Not going to worry about his stat line. It's average. He also has a Plague Sprayer.
Yeah, he's a mid-range elite character, so he doesn't fuck. That's not what he does.
So the two big things, his ability is Putrefying Stink, which when he's in a unit, that unit has the Fight's First ability.
So that's how they're handling it now. So things that used to inflict fight last are going to the fight or getting fight first.
Yeah, and he can only be attached to a unit of Plague Marines.
Massive throttle.
Yeah,
compared to what we were used to, and that makes sense because the whole fight last, fight first mechanic was the most hard to play part of the game for so long that they had to change it and reword it, reword it. And now we have this fight first phase where we alternate. So if you come preloaded with fight first, you actually do fight first. If you charge me, I fight first. Finally, it means what it says it means, right? But they're saying this is a really powerful ability. He doesn't get to go on those Blight Lords in the fucking Death Shards, which is pretty much exclusively how he was utilized before.
Speaking of Plague Marines, we actually see their data sheet, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's in this.
So, same basic stat line. They're OC2. Their data sheet ability is Remorseless. While this unit is within range of an objective marker you control, each time you take a Battle Shock test, add 1 to that test.
Oh, nice.
They had a pretty okay leadership of 6. So
that seems to be the trend is 6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Less likely to fail. Not bad.
Yeah. And, I was looking why do they make him only on Plague Marines? And probably too good of an ability for the Terminators. But we look at the melee weapons on Plague Marines. They've got Bubotic weapons, Heavy Plague Weapon, and Plague Knives all have lethal hits. And they all have 3 or 4 attacks. So you get a big squad of these dudes with that Foul Blight Spawn in there. All of a sudden they have fights first and all of these attacks with lethal hits. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, combine that with how Overwatch works now. You can just kind of creep around the corner and get got, and then take some damage and then try to charge in there. You can't get in there. That's enticing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much all their stuff has lethal hits of some kind, or if it's a Plague Spear, it's got anti-infantry 2 up.
Not bad.
And then last little thing is we've already seen the Malignant Plaguecaster. We can see the back of his model or his data sheet, and he too can only join Plague Marines.
Oh, so he can't go in the Blight Lord Terminator squad.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. But that means Plague Marines fuck a little harder. So having a beefy unit of Plague Marines.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like your core battle line unit of Plague Marines is going to be a good kind of do it all unit.
They shoot pretty good. They hit pretty good. Armor. They're also matching up armor type.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't want the Terminator guy to be walking around with the not Terminator guys. Mm-hmm. Right. The jump pack guy not jumping around in a walking squad. So that's interesting. Aesthetics. So is that all of our leaks that are worthy of mention?
Yeah. They showed us some demon stuff. Most of that we've already seen.
Death Guard Rhino.
Yeah, the Rhino is the same. It doesn't have anything special going on.
Yeah.
They just call it a Death Guard Rhino.
Yeah.
Does it come with it? Do they? And it has a 100 killer missile and all that shit on it, though? Or a Havoc launcher?
It's a Havoc launcher. Yeah.
What's a Havoc launcher? Is it indirect fire?
No, it's just blast.
Okay. Just wondering if
D6 strength 5 shots.
Just wondering. I mean, heavy Havoc launcher had indirect. I was just wondering. Curious. No worries. Yeah, it's exciting information. So that means obviously as a the day continued tomorrow and future time, more of this has probably been revealed and more exciting information.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that the oh man, what's his name? The apothecary guy? Plague surgeon?
Plague Marines.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be Plague Marines only with a Feel No Pain.
Yep. You're right. I'm pretty convinced that that armor type is armor type. And notice too. So segueing into Space Marine chapters focus on Warhammer community, where they showcased in one big glorious post all of our favorite, other chapters. I looked at Blood Angels first, is why I mentioned, because Blood Angels is what I'm working on, and I saw Gabriel Seth, that bitch ass. But I did notice.
He looks tiny.
His list of units he can join, which was like Assault Squad, Vanguard Veterans, Tactical, something else. So like he's limited to his armor type. You see? So that seems to be a trend now, kind of, I think we can almost confirm with the way these characters are going to be working and how we're going to be attached to people. So anyway, hot take on the, we don't need to cover every single fucking thing on a article Warhammer community that everyone probably already saw, because Space Marines are the most popular thing in Warhammer 40k, and these are the most popular of the most popular. Right?
Oh, actually, I just read his data sheet ability. It's pretty wild.
Gabriel Seth?
Yeah. So each time he fights, add 1 to his attack for every 5 enemy models within 6 inches. Mm-hmm. So if he goes into a big unit, he's gonna have a lot of attacks.
A little whirlwind attack, yeah. Yeah, he was historically for him. So what's your big winner for the Space Marine chapters?
We have enough info,
and
just based on our chapter detachment abilities. I'll specify. Or sorry, detachment abilities based on these chapters. What's your winner? Because remember, the game is impossible to balance perfectly, so they're not all equal.
I'm gonna go with Grim Resolve.
You think Grim Resolve? That's a good and interesting answer.
Yeah, that might be true with the new Battle Shock.
Yeah, because I think most people are going to default to Red Thirst, because that's like the most like Mongo thing you can do, just brainless style of play. But I think that Battle Shock and how often you're going to take Battle Shock tests on stuff is going to really surprise people when you actually start playing this new edition mechanically. And for those of you who haven't read the core rules yet, you could have 10 models on a objective. If their OC is 0, you don't hold that objective, even if there's no enemy models there. So this Grim Resolve thing, being able to be like, yeah, I never go to 0 for failing a Battle Shock check is pretty
you go to
big
1.
deal.
So you still 1 is more than 0. You have the objective. So that's a really good. You agree with that, Rob?
Yeah, I do. And I'm almost wondering if we're psyching ourselves out. You know how we've always seen previews and we're like, yeah, this new thing, it's going to be defining the, and then like nobody ever, it never even mattered.
That's also a good read, Rob, because historically leadership mechanics have been meaningless. And
for so long.
And I think GW knows that. And they have, and this is the newest and most unique version of leadership we've had, and
yeah, I think this actually matters in a lot of ways.
And it seems like it's gonna.
Rather than having these wacky things of like, oh, I reduce your leadership by this, so then if 4 steps down the road I make you take a leadership check and you fail, you might fall back. No, it's like, I'm going to force you to make a Battle Shock test. And if you fail, you no longer hold the objective. Like, I think
there's lots of things, even in this fucking same preview. There's a thing. There's the Hounds of Mordecai. And they can pick units to take Battle Shock tests out of sequence. Now, out of sequence Battle Shocking, full disclosure, is different than command phase Battle Shocking. Because when a command phase starts, you're not Battle Shocked anymore, and then you have to take Battle Shock tests for units that are below half. So, out of phase Battle Shocking is a little different, and it's, it takes a little bit more tactical, layup. So, it lets you kind of like sneak an OC3 thing up the line that moves fast, touch an objective, and point at this motherfucking group and say, don't roll under a 6. You know what I'm saying? And get got, or, maybe we haven't seen all the secondaries, but maybe like, you're able to snake secondaries because of it. So that coupled with, and we haven't seen all the Battleshock things in the world, but that coupled with just taking Battleshock tests because you lost half your guys and modifiers to it, Tyranids had some. I think that's a really like insightful tactical answer to the question of like Grim, something that's not that exciting on paper. Grim Resolve, OC value never drops to 0. It's at least 1 from a Battleshock test. I think that was a standout to me as well. Like I agree with you. The Blood Angels, for everyone listening, Blood Angels is +1 attack, +1 strength when they charge. So that's the old school USR Furious Charge mechanic, basically. And it's really good, sort of, mainly because it's always on. It's just a thing that you do. Where it is absolutely not as good as +1 to wound. +1 to wound is really fucking good. Which, +1 to wound is why like a Thunderhammer wounds everything on a 2. Right now, a Thunderhammer being strength 8 doesn't even wound. It wounds Terminators on 3, even with +1 strength. It wounds a Rhino a Plagueburst Crawler, like on a 5 still. Didn't even change the math. So it goes to breakpoint 40k, but still it's good and useful and it's always on. And I would agree that like I think Grim Resolve is stronger than Red Thirst. My winner pick is actually the Black Templar. And mainly because I think it shows the tedium, while improved, unnecessariness in the Space Wolves saga generating, where you have cool things you can do in a more better worded way that you have to meet the conditions to do, and admittedly an easier to achieve way. The Black Templar are just like pick a vow, like the old days, and some of those vows are fucking good if you build for it, which I think most Black Templar players would. Like fucking lethal hits. Like army-wide lethal hits seems fucking way better than +1 strength when I charge. I would take that. And for me personally, I think, Space Wolves are kind of losers to me on their army detachment rules. The detachment having said all that, I've walked a lot of people off cliffs today. Remember that when GW previewed Space Marines, they showed us the Gladius Task Force. Copy and pasted. I sent it to several people today. It said that this is the most, widely utilized detachment for Space Marines. It is available to all Space Marines, and even the ones that deviate from the Codex. So the original one they showed, guys, with combat doctrines in it, is better than a lot of the ones they showed right now. And they're saying you can do that one. Because combat doctrines is, has literally a advance and charge mechanic and a fall back and charge. That's a hit and run mechanic. So if you don't like the Space Wolf sagas, don't play them. Play Gladius Task Force. And if you're worried about your rerolls, I'm pretty sure that this is a point Wyatt made earlier, right? Because there's army rules and then there's detached rules. O's a Moment seems to be a Adeptus Astartes like army rule, right? Wyatt?
Say again?
O's a Moment is an army rule.
Yes, everybody, all these guys, Black Templars, whoever, have Oath of Moment.
So you all have that still, and you don't need to pick this special detachment. You can do Gladius Task Force, still have O's a Moment and everything. You're fine. You're good to go. It was pretty fucking exciting. I know day one with my Blood Angels that I'm probably going to play, and I'm probably going to play Gladius Task Force instead of the Red Thirst shit. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, who do you think, like, before we get too into the weeds or out of here, what's your loser pick?
Probably Space Wolves, to be honest. It's the kind of condition that I actually like the wording of, because you select it at the end of the battle round, and if you've accomplished any of the things during that battle round, you get to get the bonus saga. But it's still based around characters doing stuff, and it's like it is Hero Hammer, and Space Wolves have a lot of heroes, but it's like if you don't accomplish the thing, you don't get the bonus. Whereas other chapters, you're like, I just do this thing all the time.
Exactly. It's kind of making you do a thing you might not want to do just to get a thing.
Yeah.
So, but I did like their data sheet reveal. I love the fucking Hounds of Mordecai.
It was good to see.
I think they're cool as hell, man. You know?
Yeah, I think you can totally get by without using this attachment ability and just going with the Gladius. I think you get way more mileage out of it.
Think about a Space Wolf army
Wolves.
that just is like, all right, it's charge time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, fall back and charge. Let's go. Like,
they have these things called Wolfen. They would probably love that.
yeah, even Thunderwolves would love that.
Oh, yeah. If you can find them.
Yeah. Good point. Grim Resolve. Secretly good, guys.
They've just been out of stock for a while, so I think they might be back. I don't know.
Any before we get out of here and then wrap it up, anything leak in the last few minutes that you guys see that's intriguing?
The gambits.
They showed all the gambits.
They showed 4 of them. I don't know how many there are.
So fuck those. Those are probably going to be banned from competitive play.
Maybe.
Here's the fucking point. One of them is literally just proceed as normal.
Yeah, proceed as planned.
Oh, did they release Discussing Resilience? Stratagem? Oh, Player Jade coming in clutch. He said, like, I hope he's not
here
trolling.
it is. Fight phase, 1 Death Guard unit. Each time an attack is allocated to a model, subtract 1 from the damage.
So
It's 2 CP though. Ugh.
2 CP.
Ouch.
And good job, Recoil. He brings up, he says the thing with combat doctrines is only once per battle. Yes. But it is army wide once per battle. And you and 2 of them
You
are
set up.
2 of them are usable.
Dude. If you set up for like a turn 3 back-breaking turn where your whole army advances and charges, whew.
Yeah, that's why I think it's absolutely better for a Space Wolf army in general, based on how Space Wolf armies typically present themselves, to know that you're guaranteed to like have an advance and charge turn and then a fallback and charge turn. I think that is so much, because that's the thing you're trying to do anyway as a Space Wolf player, not the my hero goes and does this, my hero goes and does that, you know? Kind of just want to like, let's torpedo in and do our thing. Like, and also one of the doctrines is like, you know, you can advance and fucking still shoot your heavy weapon and shit. So it's like, that's pretty good too. Like, Discussing Resilience, somebody in chat says not minimum 1.
Oh, like not reduce it by 1 to a minimum of 1, maybe? Is that what he means?
Is it possible to go to a damage 0 state?
I mean, there is some precedent for that.
Oh, absolutely. There's lots of things that do similar things. And
I'm trying to find it. It hasn't
popped up. It's a 2
on
CP stratagem. And it's only in melee. It has a restriction, right? You'd be kind of wasted it. I mean, like, yeah, it doesn't say minimum. So it's, I guess you could say your bunch of 1 damage attacks are damage 0 now, unless they FAQ that. So, but they might not FAQ it, honestly. He's got a couple conditions, right?
I mean, the last time this happened, they were like, hey, of course, it's to a minimum of 1.
No, I know. Historically, when this scenario arises, they tell you
It's
you're an
like,
idiot.
people were like, oh, custodians can't take damage if they're near Trajan because wounds is a characteristic, so they ignore modifiers to your wounds. It's like, that's not how fucking damage works. Like, it's not how anything works. It's a permissive rule set. You have to get given permission to do a thing.
Doesn't say I can't do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. That's not how permission works.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fuck. So much has happened. It's more than we can reasonably cover on the show, guys. So go nuts on your lunch break today at work. Fucking scouring the internet for all these hot takes. You know, check out Spiky Bits, because Rob's going to have a fucking article about this massive fucking bathroom fucking fiasco he had earlier today.
I don't think anybody cares about that. I've
I think
already
you'd be
forgotten
shocked by how
about
many
it.
people, as many people who still have 3 Land Raiders new in box would care about this.
I don't know, man.
Player Jake.
I don't think so.
Jeffrey cares. That's 2 people
Thank you,
who care.
Jeffrey. Thank you.
Well, anyway, let's close it out then. Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob.
You know, one of these days is going to actually do it.
He did
Don't
it
make me
once.
redundant, man. I already replaced my video self with AI.
Bro, imagine if you set up just a recording just to click in. It's just Robot Rob taking us out.
Oh, I could.
You need to have me that for next week, and I will put that on my stream deck.
So that's it for this one. Make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.